The Gili Islands are absolutely breathtaking with the most picture-perfect shorelines that we saw while we were in Bali. It is definitely something that must not be missed if you're visiting Bali. In this video, I'm going to be bringing you along with me to Gili T, show you where we stayed, how we actually got there from Bali, and everything we did. So let's get straight into it. The Gili Islands are a cluster of 3 islands off of Lombok in Indonesia. The biggest of those 3 islands is Gili T, and there's also Gili Meno and Gili Air. For this trip, we chose Gili T because it's the biggest and the hotel that we wanted to stay at was located there. The journey to Gili T is notorious for being terrible. The waters are choppy and it's known for being really hot on the boat and just really uncomfortable. However, that was not our experience at all. Make sure you do your research on which company you want to go with. This is the company that we went with and we absolutely recommend it. It was such a smooth journey. We had to get ourselves to Padang Bay in Bali before we could get on this boat and get here to Gili T. If you have any more questions on this, leave it in the comments. I'll be more than happy to help you. We just wanted to get there quickly with as little time on the boat as possible, so we got a speedboat transfer and the whole thing just took an hour and a half. The boat was a little bit late leaving Bali, which is very typical. It's very normal for some of the boat operators to be hours and hours late, but ours was less than an hour, so it was actually really good. And this is the main strip as soon as you arrive in Gili T. It doesn't look like much now, but we're going to get to the really beautiful part soon. One of my favorite things about Gili is that there's no cars, no motorbikes, so it's just push pedal bikes or horse and carriage, which we really loved. We've not seen that anywhere else. There are plenty of them available. As soon as you arrive in Gili, you shouldn't struggle to get one to take you to your hotel, and then whenever you're leaving, the hotel will call one for you, so you'll be fine getting one. The horses also look like they were really well taken care of, which is lovely. Gili T is so small you can walk around the whole island in 2 hours. All the hotels there are so cheap. We chose to stay at Kardia Resort because the photos just looked amazing, and when we got there we were not disappointed. We were met with these welcome drinks, which were absolutely delicious, by the way, and then we headed straight to our rooms. We chose a room with a pool because we're in Bali and I wanted one of those swim up breakfasts, so I definitely wanted a room with a pool. And I thought that this canopy bed was so cute, and it was really nice because when we walked in they had flowers on everything, which was such a nice touch, and they'd also written a nice message for us in the mirror, which was so cute. They had all the amenities you could need. It had robes, slippers, every single thing that you could think of, and they had bottled water which they replenished every day. The pool is a lagoon style. I'll show you that in just a minute, but not before I show you this bathroom. So the bathroom was completely outdoors so that was quite a unique experience. It was complete open air experience, but it is private. There are walls, but as you're here now, you're literally outside, so it's quite a different experience. We did really feel at one with nature, and I feel like we didn't suffer too much with bugs while we were here. If you're enjoying this video and you love this kind of content, make sure you subscribe. It really does help support my tiny little channel. Also, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. This was our first time staying in a hotel that was like fully outdoors. I've stayed in hotels that have, say, a shower outside, but never like the full bathroom outside. And I did kind of enjoy the experience. The only thing I didn't like was that I had to keep my toothbrush covered because I was scared like bugs were gonna crawl all over it. Here is the main attraction, the balcony with the lagoon style pool. So what that means is that the pool kind of wraps around the hotel and you share the same pool with all the other hotel rooms in this area. So you can technically swim in this water all the way around if you wanted to. There's a little bar area in the middle, which was not open very often, to be honest, but the hotel was not too busy while we were there. You're probably thinking that doesn't sound very private if you've got to share this pool with so many people, but actually it was pretty private if you're just sat on your own balcony. It's only when you get into the pool that you're kind of exposed to everyone. These sunbeds were so perfect in the shallow end of the pool, and this is the bar I mentioned earlier. The rest of the hotel was just beautiful. So this is the main pool area. This section is a little bit more private. It's at the back. These stairs lead up to the main entertainment area. Here there's an infinity pool that looks out into the sea. It's a little bit more public in this area because anyone walking down the street can technically see you. But if you sit in the cabanas at the back, which you don't have to pay for, they are included. It's first come, first serve. People from the road cannot see you and you can enjoy your infinity pool in peace. I really like that the pool had a swim-up bar right here, and here is the main restaurant area. It's right next to the lobby, which is this section right here. They also had a spa, but we didn't bother going because there are just so many spas on the strip. The best thing about the Gili Islands were the beautiful sunsets. Oh my goodness, I'm literally getting goosebumps remembering what these sunsets were like. I thought the best sunset that I've ever seen was in Santorini, which was the most stunning sunset. But this sunset in Bali is just breathtaking. Like every single day was the most gorgeous sunset, and I just couldn't stop staring. And I feel like this hotel made it even more beautiful because the infinity pool, the setting, they always had live music. It was just so romantic, so beautiful, and you'll just get goosebumps sitting there watching the sunset. It's so gorgeous. The hotel also has a little beach area, if you can even call it that. You can see the blue bean bags there. That's their little beach strip. It's got sand and it is facing the beach, but because the tide comes in so close, they can't actually have any space on the actual beach. There is no beach most of the time because the tide is just so high. So that is their alternative. I'll show you a little bit more of this area later in the video. But for now, the hotel really comes alive in the evening. There's not too much entertainment here in Gili because it's such a small island, but this hotel has some great entertainment. So after you've enjoyed the beautiful sunset, they then always have something going on, and once a week they have a fire show. It's quite perfect because if you book your dinner reservation in time for this restaurant, or even just a table for drinks, you can sit and have some drinks or some food and watch the performance happening. Usually a crowd gathers also just on the street, which you can do if you don't have a reservation. And if you're not staying in the hotel, you can still watch it just from the sidelines. But if you can get a reservation, great. It is super busy, but it's so worth it. And yeah, we absolutely loved it. It was definitely one of the highlights to our trip to Gili. And don't worry if you miss the fire show while you're there, because there's always something happening every night and you can still book a table and watch any performance that's on that night. It also helps that the food is absolutely amazing in this hotel. I feel like I could say this about every single dish I had while I was in Bali, but the food was delicious. It was so gorgeous. Also, the cocktails and drinks were delicious. I had coconuts all the time in Bali. Absolutely 10 out of 10. This is the little beach area I was telling you about. You can see how beautiful the sea looks, but it is right up close to the bank. So this is why they can't have a proper beach. We're in Bali, so of course I had to have some floating breakfasts. And that is the reason I wanted a hotel with a pool in the first place. So yeah, I was super excited about my floating breakfast and it did not disappoint. The breakfast in this hotel was super reasonable price, and it had such a huge platter of lots of different things that you could choose. It's a must do while you're in Bali, and Gili is a perfect place to do it because it's very relaxing here. One negative about this hotel actually is that they offered afternoon tea to everyone, which is very common in Bali. A lot of hotels offer that, but the afternoon tea in this hotel was really rubbish. It was like a selection of 3 items which weren't even nice. They can definitely improve on this. Other hotels did this so much better. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous video on the Hanging Gardens of Bali. That hotel had the most amazing afternoon tea, and that's how it should be done. Back to Gili, here's a little walkthrough of the island. The hotel did have bicycles that you could hire, but we didn't bother doing that because it's so small. We wanted to walk around. There were so many shops offering lots of things, a lot of bars and restaurants for you to sit at and eat, and the seaside is just to the right. You can see it really well in just a moment. I walk up to the sea. The water is so beautiful if you want to get in and have a dip, and it's really nice because you can actually get massages anywhere in Gili. There's lots of places for you to get massages, and they are so cheap, you guys. Another thing we did was we booked a tour. While we were in Gili, there were a few things that we wanted to see, so we booked a tour, and I'm going to give you a little snippet of that. After this walkthrough, we went snorkeling, and it was so much fun. Up until now, we'd only spent all of our time on Gili, but obviously there's Gili Air and Gili Meno that we hadn't explored at all. So this tour was taking us around Gili Meno a little bit more and showing us a few bits that we wanted to see there. This is the seaside. You can see how gorgeous the weather is. Honestly, it's the most perfect sea. So calm, so beautiful. There's quite a few beach bars and restaurants along here, so you can just sit at the seaside and order some drinks. You can also just sit on the sand if you like, or rent some of the sunbeds that they have there, and it's not too expensive. For the snorkeling tour, we had a glass bottom boat, which was actually not that impressive. It was just a tiny bit of the boat had a glass bottom, and we explored a lot of the reefs around Gili Meno. There's a really famous sculpture that you've probably seen if you are visiting Bali, and we definitely wanted to see this sculpture, so we ended up seeing it in our tour, so that was really nice. And we also just spent some time at the turtle sanctuary. That was beautiful as well. We didn't have very long in Gili. We knew it was quite small, so we only chose to spend 4 nights there, but it was so lovely. We wish we'd spent a little bit longer, but you don't want to be there too long because, like I said, it is small. But it's so beautiful. It was really nice to have that relaxing break because we did a lot in Ubud and we had a lot planned for Seminyak, so it was nice to have that break. And yeah, it was just lovely. I would definitely recommend adding Gili to your Bali itinerary. We almost skipped it, and I'm so glad that we didn't. The boat ride really put us off. But if you do your research, the boat ride is going to be lovely, just like ours, and you will have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.